My name is Laura Powell, and I'm a member of the Town of Woodstock Select Board, and I'm here to talk about the fiscal year 2026 budget. So, municipal budgets are prepared every year and then voted on town meeting day, which is coming up this Saturday, March 1st. And I wanted to talk to you about the process of developing our budget and then what exactly you will be voting on when you come to vote on Saturday, which we hope you will. Every year, the Select Board, the town manager, and the department heads get together in the fall to talk about how things have changed throughout the first half of the fiscal year. The fiscal year runs July through June. So fiscal year 2026 will begin July 1st, 2025 and run through June 2026. So this past fall, the department heads came in front of the board and asked for what they believe they need for the next year's budget. Maybe there are some trends they've seen where they say, oh, we need more equipment this year, or we need less supply of X, or our department is growing, or actually our department doesn't need as many. But they come and they make a case in front of the board and the municipal manager. After that meeting, or meetings rather, because there's quite a few of them, the municipal manager then makes a recommendation of the budget to the board. And so he takes all of the things that he knows to be true about how the town is operating, and also weighs that against the political will of the community and also the select board, and makes a recommendation. And then the board weighs that recommendation as well as the department head's recommendation and has many discussions. December through mid-January is kind of the drop dead date when we can vote on the final budget, talking about ways we can improve the operations of the town and how to do that specifically. So for those of you who don't know, the select board and the trustees created goals and objectives this past spring, and that was at the request of our town manager, and it was to help us to use as a tool while we make decisions, not just as boards, but also when we make decisions about the finances of the town and the village. And through that process, it's been a lot easier to be able to tie our intentions to this year's budget. So I'll say this year's budget process was easier in some ways than last year's. It was harder in a lot of ways, knowing that our community is sensitive to many different types of property tax increases that we've seen, especially the statewide education tax. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about that. The tax rate increase this year for this budget that we're going to talk about on Saturday is a 10.75, almost 11%. And that actually is not increasing, it's not getting us a lot more than what we got this year. A lot of that increase has to do with the cost of benefits, employee benefits, which if you own a business or you're an employee yourself, you know that the costs of health insurance are increasing rapidly and unsustainably, in my opinion. The other thing we're adding to the budget this year is the debt service for the water infrastructure project. So that's about $120,000 that's going into the budget that we voted on in the 2 water votes in the fall. The other thing that you'll see in the budget that's increasing are capital reserves. The board and the municipal manager's office have talked a lot about this. We constantly find ourselves underfunded when it comes to important investments we should be making in infrastructure and equipment. We have historically enjoyed very low tax rates because in large part we were borrowing from our future selves and not making the investment to save money in the past. And now we are trying to play catch up in a way that's responsible while also understanding that people are being stretched thin. So the town tax rate makes up one part of your tax bill. And if you look at your property tax bill, I have mine in front of me for reference. There are 2 sides of the tax bill. There's a left side and the right side. The left side is the town tax bill. The right side is the education tax. And what we are talking about on the budget will be impacting the left side of your property tax bill, which is usually about 22 to 25% of your total tax bill. And the state education tax makes up the other portion of that. So when I say that the tax rate is increasing by almost 11%, it's that part of the portion that will be impacted. And in addition, something I mentioned in my previous video is that the special articles, the petitioned articles that will be voted on Tuesday, add about $231,000 in taxpayer funds to organizations both in Woodstock and the Upper Valley. A lot of these organizations, again, do great work, but I would ask voters to be incredibly discerning because this translates to almost an additional 4% tax increase. So it's something to be mindful of. And for those who live in the village, they also pay a village tax on top of the town tax. And the village meeting will be, if you don't know, 2 weeks after our town meeting. I really encourage everybody to come out on Saturday, March 1st at 10 a.m. to Town Hall for town meeting. It's a very special Vermont tradition to come and voice your opinion and participate in local government. And if you want to see a government that is reflective of you and your values, this is the best way to do that. So I hope to see you there.